What's up guys, I'm randomfrankp, and today we're going to be reviewing the brand new glorious PC gaming race Model D, the ergonomic version and the newest release to their Odin product lineup. So we had the ambidextrous Model O, now the Model D. We'll check it all out for you guys in case you're interested in picking it up in this review. So quick disclaimer, do not let your wife or your girlfriend use this mouse because she'll never want your D again. All right, that's all I'll say about that. So like we've seen in the past from Glorious, they're giving us 4 different versions for this mouse to pick from. We get a matte black and white version and a glossy black and white version as well. The difference is 1 gram of weight at 68 grams for matte, 69 grams for glossy, with the price model returning as well at $50 for matte and $60 for glossy. Then when you get it out in all unboxed, you'll pretty much notice that the design language hasn't changed that much either. It does relatively look the same with the hexagon cutouts around with the honeycomb shell to, cut down on that weight. We still have the RGB light strips on both sides, the RGB scroll wheel. The main difference now with the D is the shape. There's a joke in there somewhere. So I know for me personally, just in terms of my grip, my hand size, I've always preferred an ergonomic gaming mouse because it just feels more natural in the hand. So if you're someone who prefers an ambidextrous design, you're gonna be more, partial to the Model O. I wanna hear your thoughts down below. Do you prefer ergonomic or are you ambi? And oh, randomfrankp, it's not ergonomic, it's ergonomic. Ergonomic, caramel, get out of my face. And whenever I get these new mice in, I'm always kind of going back and forth on whether I do prefer the matte finish or the glossy finish because it is definitely, you get more of that natural friction on a glossy mouse just to the material against your skin. So I really like that. Of course, you're not gonna notice that 1 gram difference. So if you wanna spend the 10 extra bucks to have a glossy mouse, you can. I'm still going back and forth. I can never decide which I like better. So as I mentioned that before, marketed at 68 grams. On my scale, it comes in just around 69 and 70. Again, kind of factoring in the front end of the cable there, but still very lightweight. In terms of actual size, it's 61 millimeters wide at the front, 63 millimeters at its grip width, then 67 millimeters at its hips for its widest point. It's also 33 millimeters tall at the front, 42 millimeters tall at its highest point, and comes in at 128 millimeters long in terms of length. Returning is the PMW 3360 sensor from Pixar. I've had no issues with it whatsoever. It's a trusted sensor by now. Goes up to 12,000 DPI, and default on the actual mouse itself, we have 4 DPI settings. There's an LED indicator there letting you know which DPI you're at. Returning is also the Omron mechanical switches inside, rated for 20 million clicks, and I'll give you a sound test now of all 6 buttons. So you might have noticed that the forward and backward buttons on the left side are noticeably bigger than what we saw on the Model O. And this is again to complement the Ergo grips. You're gonna have bigger buttons there, easier to press. So what else is new, you might be asking? The G-skates are still on the bottom of the mouse, allowing you to have that really buttery smooth glide, but they also included the second additional set of wider and bigger feet pretty much, so you can kind of extend that area. There's a smaller one for the top and a more wide one for the bottom, pretty much giving you 2 larger feet. So if you're a fan of, just real quick and easy flicks and glides, this is really gonna help out. I, for one, love it. It's 100% version PTFE, pretty much making this some of the smoothest feet you can buy, or I guess have on a mouse. And yet again, we have their Ascend cable, which brings up, one thing from the previous releases of the Model O. I never had any issues, but one of the more common complaints were people having issues with their cable. And that was because of the way it was packaged. So what did they do to fix that? Well, we still have the same cable, but now they fixed their packaging. So instead of it, getting kinked up and kind of bent in the box during transit and stuff, that would kind of loosen the connector inside. Now, as you saw in the intro, we have completely new packaging. It's just next to it instead of routed underneath. However, they still do have online where you can go in and buy additional Ascended cables and get different colors and stuff if you want to match it to a certain color theme you have for your light strips on your mouse. So that's definitely pretty cool. The cable's still ultra light, ultra flexible, gives you that, sort of wireless kind of feeling to the mouse because you really don't notice it. Although of course you can choose to, use your own paracord and stuff. But yeah, more than happy with the stock cable here. Still a lot better than most stock gaming mice cables out there. Testing out the G-Skates on my cloth mouse pad, very, very nice, a smooth glide. And obviously, of course, the same thing with something like my Glide 38 from Mad Catz, where it's that hybrid rubberized texture. With the lightweight mouse, the cable, and the G-Skates, it is a deadly combo. So now's the point where we can talk about, my experience and the preference. And again, for me, it's ergonomic all the way. I love the design to this mouse. It feels really, really nice in the hand for that more natural grip. That's where the term ergonomic comes from. But for me, I've been using the Razer Viper Ultimate as my main mouse since it released, and before that, just the regular Razer Viper. So switching from using an Ambi mouse for 3-4 months at that point to now an Ergo mouse, it took me maybe an hour to get used to. So as you'll see, I was taking some names in Battlefield, not to toot my own horn. But if you're a fan of the channel, you've been watching for a while, you know I have a love-hate relationship with this game. But the reason I play it is because of the feedback of certain guns. So for example, there's a lot of recoil. Certain guns have more than others depending on the weight of the gun, the burst. When you're sniping, it factors in things like velocity, distance, bullet drop, all that stuff. So once my grip physically adjusted to the Ergo design, and then I mentally kind of adjusted how that would translate to in-game, it was just game over. I had 3 straight games where I had a plus 30 KD. And I know for Battlefield that's not that rare, honestly, but the change to a lighter ergonomic mouse was definitely noticeable. It's not the mouse that makes you better, it's how you adjust. Kobe! Now, like I mentioned before, you do have the stock 4 DPI settings, but you can also go in and choose to download the software. Although it's not necessary, that's how you're gonna change up the DPI and the different presets on the mouse, as well as all the RGB lighting. It is very, user-friendly software, not too much bells and whistles going on, the same layout, same format as the previous software for the Model O and stuff. So very straightforward, you should have no problems adjusting your RGB, your DPI, polling rate, etc. So all in all, for the past 2 weeks I've been using it, it's been a great experience. I've had no issues with it whatsoever. Like I mentioned before, the one main complaint people had with the original Model O was the cable disconnecting. And how do they remedy that? They changed the packaging, so that's not an issue anymore. I personally had no issues with the Model O. You watched my review, I loved it, and it really shaped the way the gaming mouse industry has kind of, evolved and moved forward over the past few months. So now, the same mouse at its core, just a different shape. Instead of Ambi, we're now Ergo, and I am all for it, especially for just $50 if you want the matte black or white version, or an additional $10 at $60 if you want the glossy variant. So all in all, nothing but positive vibes for the Model D. Big thumbs up from my book, highly, highly recommend. And guys, that'll wrap it up for this video. Hope you all enjoyed. If you want to check it out, I'll put a link for you in the description down below. If you liked this video, give it a big thumbs up to show your support. Feel free to follow me on Twitter at randomfrankp. And last, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I hope you enjoyed. Have a good day.